It's a long document, 8 pages. Strongly encourage you to download it, read it. Best way to reach me, send me an email. Even over the course of the weekends, I'll probably respond to it if it's incredibly important. But send me an email. My apologies, I'm right by a clock, so every 15 minutes the clock goes off. Sorry, it's just, but I've got a window. Send me an email if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to contact me with anything. If it's really, something that's concerning you, that's what I'm here for. So send me an email. You could try to call me. I can't remember the last time my phone even rang. And it's not likely I'm going to answer it anyway. Send me an email. So what does this course do? Basically, it's going to be an introduction to macroeconomics. And I am going to cover the same material I would cover in a typical semester, obviously in a more compressed fashion. We're going to start off with, in part 1, again this is a 3-part course, in part 1, just giving you a general overview of what does economics itself look like as a discipline. In part 2, we're going to look at macroeconomics specifically and look at the 3 things that macroeconomists are most concerned about: prices, production, and unemployment. And then in the 3rd part of this course, we're going to look at how you manage the economy, how you get economies out of recessions, and we'll look at a little bit at the international economy. Okay, I've got my student learning goals and outcomes. They're helpful to read because it gives you an idea of what it is that I'm focusing on as I design exams and homeworks. This is the textbook. You should get this from rental services or instructional resources, whatever that thing is called that gives you the textbook. If you are off campus and there's no way you can get the book, go online, order a really old edition of the book. I think you can get like a first edition of this book for like 75 cents on like half.com. So, obviously rental would be free, but if you have to, just order something really cheap and really old. Economics has not changed. Make sure it's from these authors, though. It seems daunting to me, and I hope it seems daunting to you. But I'm up for a challenge here, and I'll do my best to make sure that the challenge doesn't hurt you. 3-week course for a typical semester-long course puts a lot of intensity on yourself as well as me. It's going to require 135 hours of your time, the equivalent of a 40-hour-a-week job. If you're doing it as you would study for a typical college course, where you would have 1 hour of time, three days a week, or 3 hours a week for 15 weeks, that would be 45 hours with the additional 90 hours of studying time. 135 hours. I give you an overview of electronic etiquette. Hopefully you practice that without me even saying anything. But what can I say about this? Nothing is worse than an email that starts off in a bad way, and that would mean like Dr. Scheiding, Professor Scheiding. You don't have to add the dear or the hi or the hello that I add here. I just ask that you don't call me Tom. That's my first name. And the reason why I ask that is not because I'm, pretentious and I don't like people calling me my first name. I would probably prefer it if I had the choice. It's just hard though, because I, at the end of the semester, have to make an assessment of your performance, and I don't want things to be, too informal and too friendly, because the one thing I strive to do at the end of the semester is make sure that I'm consistent in my grading. There's no favorites, that kind of thing, and it just ensures that kind of thing happens. And I can hide behind my title, professor or doctor. I will be communicating a lot by email. Make sure your inbox is clean. Make sure that things do not go to the junk box. I would imagine in a typical week you'll get several emails from me. don't ask for extra credit. There won't be any. There will be curves though. So there's so despite the fact there's no extra credit, I will always ensure that the class average for any exam and for the homeworks as a whole will be 80%. If it's below 80%, everyone will get a bump up in points to make the average 80%. And that goes for homeworks as a whole, each individual exam. Okay. The idea here then is that, as we, kind of look at the the plagiarism policy, it's important. Obviously, I don't want you just copying and pasting stuff, on the short answer questions on the exams and whatnot. If you're in doubt, send me an email. For those of you with a learning disability, make sure to contact Disability Services. I cannot give you extra time on things unless there's a disability-related accommodation that I need to meet. Okay. 3 parts, as I identified before, each part due on each Friday at 5 p.m. This course will then effectively end Friday the 20th at 5 p.m. Now, for these homeworks, essentially you would have to start the exam at least by 5 p.m. You would then have the 85 minutes after that to actually complete the exam. So, at a minimum by 4:59 p.m. on Friday, you need to start the exam. Unfortunately, the way that the grades are worked out, if you miss even one exam, you basically will not be able to pass this course. So you have to make sure that if you're going to be busy on Friday or whatever day, that you work ahead, that you plan your time appropriately. You've got the time to, this is available already. Well, the exam isn't, but I'll work on that. But you need to work ahead. If something that you can anticipate with some reasonableness comes up, and you don't want to have to rely on me to, like, the fact that you missed it and then come up with an excuse that your 10th grandmother died and that you can't take the exam. You have to remember, I've seen a lot of excuses in my life too, so I'm not as soft-hearted as I probably would be the typical person. But on the other hand, I've come to expect it as a part of my job, so you should still always ask, but you can't expect that I'm going to be as receptive if it's something that you could have planned ahead for. For each part, then you will then see that about 5 to 6 chapters are covered for each part. Follow the chapters in order. Not really anything too exciting about that. Okay, so that finishes this introductory video. Hopefully, it gave you at least an overview of what you need to do. If you have any questions after watching this video and reading the documents, send me a quick email. Okay. That will then conclude this introductory video.